Hello, and welcome to the pre-camp webinar for Headfirst Showcase Camps. First, take a quick look at what we'll cover in this webinar. First, we'll do some brief introductions of some of the members of the Headfirst team that you'll see on site. Then we'll do a brief 2-day schedule overview, and then we'll talk about how players and families can prepare for camp for coach communication, school research, and all the other things to make for a great 2-day experience and use Headfirst as a platform in your recruiting process. First up, some intros. Brendan Sullivan is our founder and president. Brendan attended Stanford University, where he graduated after 3 years in 1996. He had a standout career there and was drafted by the Padres, played up to AAA in the Padres organization, and founded Headfirst in the offseason between his pro ball seasons. Next up is Jenna Orlando. Jenna is the director of operations for Headfirst. Jenna played her college softball at Lafayette, where she graduated in 2017. She was a 4-year starter for the Leopards, as well as a 2-time Patriot League Academic Honor Roll selection, and was named team captain her senior year. Next up is Caitlin Elwanger. Caitlin is our Senior Associate of Operations, and she played her college softball at Denison University, where she graduated in 2022. She played there for all 4 years and was a 3-year team captain, as well as a 3-year NFCA All-Academic American selection, and also a member of 2 National Honor Societies while she was there in Ohio. Mike Rothstein. Mike is a fellow here at Headfirst. Many of you have probably spoken with Mike on the phone or exchanged emails with him. Mike just finished his graduate degree, his master's in sports administration from NYU in 2025. He attended his undergrad, he attended Florida Southern College, where he got a BS in history and social science. He played baseball there all 3 years and was also on the Dean's List and was a 3-year SSC All-Academic Team selection. And finally is me, Max McKenna. I'm our Senior Manager of Marketing here at Headfirst, and I played my college baseball at Amherst College, where I graduated in 2011 after a 4-year career there. Went into teaching and coaching for a number of years at the high school level before coming back to Headfirst and joining Headfirst full-time. One final introduction is Diamond College Advisory Team, or DCAT as we call them. DCAT is a college advisory program that is built specifically for student athletes in softball and baseball who are looking to maximize their on-field and their academic outcomes at the college level. They work directly and hands-on with student athletes and families to navigate the recruiting process by providing feedback, support, and hands-on guidance in terms of next steps, communication, all the details of how to handle and navigate your recruiting. They have experience on both sides of the recruiting desk as former college coaches, and so they're able to leverage that experience to help student athletes take the right next steps while avoiding common mistakes and maximize their potential outcomes at the college level. Now let's dive into a brief 2-day schedule overview. Camp will start with all players arriving and checking in. After all players are checked in and have received their camp jerseys, we'll head to an all-camp meeting where you'll be introduced to some of the Headfirst team, as well as given a sense of what it is that you're going to expect over the next 2 days. After that all-camp meeting, players will head off to stretch and get loose to start their softball action, and there will be a parents-only meeting to follow where parents have their chance to get their questions answered and connect with Brendan as well. After players are all warm, we will head into the defensive showcase rotation. We group players by their showcase position, and you will head through a rotation that takes you through the showcase field. All the college coaches in attendance will be on the showcase field, and each positional group will rotate through that showcase field to get your showcase reps in front of all of the college coaches in attendance. During other parts of that defensive showcase rotation, we'll be collecting other objective measurements, namely home-to-home sprint time, home-to-first or 20-yard dash time, as well as overhand throwing velocity. After the defensive showcase rotation is concluded, we'll head to the offensive showcase rotation. During this, the hitting groups, the showcase groups will remain the same as they were during the defensive showcase rotations. And once again, all the college coaches will be watching the offensive showcase, and all groups will rotate through that station to get their BP reps in front of all of the college coaches. We'll collect different objective measurements during the offensive showcase rotation, namely batted ball velocity off of a tee. In the afternoon, after the showcase morning has wrapped up, we'll head into our simulated games, which will be the bulk of the action for the end of day one, as well as most of day two as well. So during our simulated games, players will be assigned to teams and they'll play on one game on day one and two games on day two. Games are designed to facilitate action and maximize opportunities. So this means we don't play a traditional 3-up, 3-out inning. We play 5 or 6 batters per inning. We start hitters with a 1-1 count, really meant to facilitate action. We also run the batting order continuously so that the leadoff hitter doesn't necessarily get an extra at bat. We run that order continuously from game to game and also from day to day to make sure that all players get equal numbers of at bats during their gameplay. Teams are balanced by positional groups. So we assign those teams on the first day of camp based on the players that are there at camp to make sure that all teams have as close to possible equal numbers of catchers and middle infielders and pitchers and outfielders so that all players there are getting as much playing time as possible at both their primary and their secondary positions during those 21 innings of game. On day two, the bulk of the day will be taken up by these simulated games. Your arrival time on day two depends on your team assignment, with one set of teams arriving early and the other team sleeping in a little bit and arriving a little bit later. That team that plays early will alternate games. The team that plays early will play in the first and then the third game slot, while the team that gets to sleep in and arrive a little bit later will play in the second and then final game slot of the day. Each team will play in 2 games on day two as well. In addition to the gameplay on day two, there is some additional programming for players and parents. There will be no additional meetings after each team's second game, but upon arrival in the morning, there is a recruiting panel for parents for each wave of games as they arrive to talk about their questions and to talk about the recruiting process with a member of the Headfirst team. In addition to that programming, there also are that kind of softball related programming. There are a few other additional and really key pieces of camp programming over the course of the 2 days, namely coach connection periods and also a coach-led positional practice. During the coach connection periods, these are dedicated times for players and coaches to meet face-to-face, connect, and really put a face to a name, right? This is the chance that players have to introduce themselves to coaches, express interest in their schools, and start to get some feedback and get a sense of where they might stand in the recruiting process. This is a wonderful opportunity for players to introduce themselves to coaches, talk to them, get a sense of who these coaches are, and give coaches a sense of who the player is on and off the field, right? They've seen them play, they know their metrics, they know how they play the game of softball, but who is this young student athlete in front of me as a person? What is their personality? What is their character? What is their potential for leadership? These coach connection periods are really key times when you can really get to know these coaches and have them get to know you as a player on and off the field. There also is the coach-led positional practice. So each positional group will break up with a group of coaches, and it really gives players the opportunity to receive feedback and engage directly with the college coaches. This is a great opportunity for instruction, and it's also a great opportunity for players to learn more about coaches' coaching styles, learn more about their program, learn more about how they approach their day in, day out practice in their program as well. These are 2 formalized ways in which Headfirst facilitates direct access to college coaches. However, it's not the only one, right? There also is, during the gameplay, there are coaches in the dugouts and on the field, which are also, as we'll talk about a little bit later, great opportunities for players to interact with coaches, have access to the college coaches at their dream school, and receive feedback and instruction from some really great college coaches. Next and final, we'll talk about preparing for camp and how student athletes and families can lay the foundation now to really accelerate their recruiting process before, at, and after their Headfirst experience. So first, when we think about approaching the recruiting process and how to engage with college coaches, you see it laid out here. We separate this into 3 categories. There's before camp, there's at camp, and then there's after camp. So between now and when you arrive on site for your Headfirst showcase, the 2 most important things that players can be doing are looking at the school list and researching the schools that are attending, as well as continuing to refine and build and research your own school list, the schools that are your target potential ending spots for your college experience. And once you cross-reference those two, the schools that you're interested in and the schools that are going to be at Headfirst, start to do some email outreach to those schools and say, hey, coach, I'm really excited to see you at Headfirst. My name is Max McKenna. I'm a 2027 from Massachusetts, and I'm really interested in Lafayette because of X, Y, and Z reason. It is absolutely critical that you personalize these emails and that you do your research beforehand, but you absolutely should take advantage of the opportunity to send these emails to college coaches before you arrive on site. Then when you are on camp, when you are at camp, really take advantage of this opportunity, this 2-day opportunity, as it says there, to engage. You have unparalleled access and direct access to these college coaches. So it's really important that you take advantage of that. And this means, yes, finding the coach during the coach connection period and talking to them, expressing interest and meeting them face to face. It also means during the coach-led practice, taking advantage of that opportunity to get feedback and get some coaching and instruction from some great softball coaches and use that as a way to engage with the game and engage with these college coaches. And then also take advantage of the opportunity during the games to also interact with college coaches. One thing that we see each and every year is there are certain times and certain players where it can feel really intimidating to approach a college coach during the coach connection period and say, hey, coach, I'm really interested in your school. My name is X. What do you think? Starting those conversations during the games can be a more organic and therefore more comfortable way to start some of these conversations by starting it around the game of softball. Instead of, hey, coach, I'm really interested in your school, it can be, hey, coach, I just had that at bat. I think you saw, I was wondering, how do you work on two-strike approach in your program, right? What do you tell your hitters to be aware of when they're facing a two-strike count? And start those conversations around the game of softball. This not only expresses your appetite for feedback and growth and also your coachability, all of which are key characteristics that coaches are looking for in the players that they recruit, but it also can be a really organic way to start these conversations and feel less intimidating sometimes than going up to a coach and say, hi, coach, I'm interested in your program. What do you think? Also, Headfirst provides a lot of programming and support to help student athletes with these interactions. During the coach connection period, our team will be around the facility to help you find coaches and also to help facilitate you starting the conversations. It's really important that you as a player are sending these emails yourself and you're having these conversations yourself, because ultimately these college coaches want to talk with you as the prospective player who might be joining their program. However, it also can be nerve-wracking and can be intimidating to start some of these conversations. So if you have questions about how to start the conversation or where you can find a coach, or I don't know what to do next, find someone from Headfirst, and we are happy to provide guidance and support during any parts of camp to make sure that players have what they need to productively and effectively start those conversations and engage with college coaches while they have such direct access to them. And then finally, after camp. It is absolutely crucial after camp. Camp is not a 2-day standalone event during which you try to talk with college coaches, right? It is a platform that you can use to provide communication to college coaches before camp and say, hey, coach, I'm really excited to see you at Headfirst. Then you talk with them at camp. And then really key is coming out of camp, how are you following up with these coaches? You're sending emails to coaches that you spoke with. You're sending a handwritten thank you note if somebody particularly stood out. And you're saying, hey, coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I'm really excited about your program. I'm really interested in your school because of X, Y, and Z, and I'd love to see what's next for me. That follow-up communication is a really important aspect so that you can keep the ball rolling and capitalize on the momentum that you have from your Headfirst showcase experience. One important note about these conversations is there are some rules from the NCAA that do dictate what Division I coaches are able to talk to certain grad year players about. So for the class of 2026, that is rising seniors are eligible to have in-person recruiting specific conversations directly with all college coaches. They can walk up to a coach, express interest, and the coach can say, hey, Max, it's really nice to meet you. Let's talk about your scholarship. Let's talk about your roster spot. Let's talk about your application process. Therefore, 2026 grads will wear a black wristband, which will be provided at camp check-in to indicate their grad year to college coaches so that they are very easily and visibly identifiable for coaches, so that coaches just have a little sense of comfort of, I can talk to this player about anything. For the class of 2027 and younger, that is rising juniors, rising sophomores, and freshmen, this does not mean that you cannot talk to college coaches while you are there. You absolutely should still pursue conversations with college coaches. There are just a few more guardrails. First up, the conversations that you can have with college coaches, those are particular to Division I schools. So if you're a 2027 who walks up to talk to the coach at Harvard and you want to know about your admissions pre-read or your roster spot, they won't be able to have that kind of conversation with you. However, many D3 schools will be able to have more in-depth conversations with you. Also, it does not mean that you can't talk to coaches. It just limits what you are able to talk about or what they are able to talk about with you. You can still meet the coach, get a sense of their program, talk to them about the game of softball, introduce yourself, and give them a really good sense of who you are as a player. You just cannot talk recruiting specific conversations, meaning they can't offer you a spot in their program. They can't talk to you about your incoming process, your scholarship offer, your roster spot offer. They can't talk about recruiting specific conversations with you. However, they absolutely can and still want to meet you, talk to you, get to know you. Some great ways to approach this are, as I said, introductions, and then also really seeking out feedback and instruction. How can you use this as a platform to improve your game and continue to develop as a player, and use those conversations to show your coachability, show your interest in growth, and also get to know these college coaches of all levels. Now we're going to finish off here with a few partners. So as you've gotten a few emails, probably, we work with a hotel partner called Book Your Block. You can book your hotel through them. We do have a stay to play policy, so you can book your hotel through them at the lowest available rate guarantee. To learn more and to book your hotel, you can do so on our website by selecting softball from the top nav at the top of the page, and then travel planning softball from that drop-down menu. If you do have questions or if you need to submit a hotel booking exemption request, you can do that directly through Book Your Block. That information is also on that travel planning page, as well as on the Book Your Block website links that it will push you through to, as well as some follow-up emails that you would have gotten from us, including your confirmation email. Next, the Headfirst mobile app. This is mentioned and called out in the pre-camp email that you would have just received as well, but we do ask that families download the Headfirst on-site app prior to arrival or the morning of. So to do so, you go to the App Store and search Headfirst Honor Roll, download, the icon will look like that H there, and then you're going to open the app and press enter passphrase. Your session-specific passphrase is in the pre-camp email that you have received prior to camp. Enter that, it will show you the guide, and then you can download that. All of our at-camp communication, any schedule updates, any pieces of time-sensitive information, we will be communicating through the app. So we do ask that players and families have that downloaded so that we can effectively communicate with you while you're on site. And then final partner is Real Play. We work with Real Play to provide you with the option of purchasing video from camp. The Real Play video package includes your defensive showcase, your offensive showcase, and all of your live gameplay, which is captured from multiple angles, your at-bats, your innings pitched, your plays in the field. This is all edited and sent to you within 10 days of camp in an easy-to-share format, whether that's putting it up on your YouTube page, putting it on your Twitter profile, putting it on your Sports Recruits profile, using that video as to help inform the next steps of your recruiting process. If you are interested in purchasing Real Play before camp, if you have not already done so, you can email us, showcase@headfirst.com, to request the package, and we'll be able to collect that over the phone. Or there also is a link in the pre-camp email with further instructions for how to purchase that video. If you have already purchased Real Play will be in touch with you in a timeline before and after camp to access your video, with a timeline and instructions for how to access your video. And if you still have questions about how to best prepare for your time at Headfirst, this is certainly not your first, last, or only chance to get your questions answered. If you still have questions, please, please, please feel free to reach out to us. You can send us an email there at showcase@headfirstcamps.com, or reach us by phone at 202-715-6654. I would also advocate that you take a look at our blog, as well as our Instagram and Twitter handles listed there on the screen. On our blog, we post things like like interviews with college coaches and further guidance on the recruiting process. And then on our Instagram and Twitter is same. We take clips of those conversations with college coaches and we post them there to give players further insight into the recruiting process. Thank you so much for watching the webinar, and we look forward to seeing you on site at a Headfirst Showcase camp soon.